So Google My Business SEO tools are really useful because they'll speed up the process of being ranked number one in your particular business locally. And that's what most people are after with their Google My Business listing. They want to be prepared, they want to make sure they're putting the right information in so that they get found when people are searching for them. And that's what we're going to look at today, is to see what tools are needed to help you to rank number one, ready for 2022. Well, these are 7 tools that I've put together, but I'm also going to explain a bit more depth to why these tools are useful and how you can then use them in a strategy that's going to grow your business. And I understand the problems that many of you are facing by reading some of your questions on my blog and reading some of the questions on the YouTube. Often it's just a case you don't know where to start. And with so much advice out there, sometimes it feels like you've made progress in one direction and then the following week it seems to be going backwards again. In fact, the other day on our community, I put the question here, how is your business going? Does it need a boost? And 29% of you said it's not growing. 56% said it's growing, but it's slowly. And I think most people can relate to that. 10% said it's been speeding up and 5% said it's flying along. So we all want to get into that 5%, don't we? That's what we're aiming for. But the realism of it is it's a slow burn process. But I'm going to see what we can do to speed that up today. While I was there, I did just ask if there's any particular tools you enjoy using. And we're going to show you some tools that you haven't mentioned. But I just noticed that 61% of you enjoy using GMB Crush. And that is a useful tool. And you'll notice on there, it particularly, again, brings to the fore this idea of being in the top 3, being in the map pack. And that's when we speak about going green on this video. That's the key, is getting into the top 3 results. So let me explain why that going green is so important. So you notice here, you've chosen that your best SEO tool for saving time is GMB Crush. And the reason being is if you go to GMB Crush, you'll see here that it shows you what the top 3 are for a particular search keyword. So I put in here web design, and that's what's come up. And you notice it's then red when it's outside of the top 3. Now, why is that so important, and why is number 1 obviously so important? Well, the reason is if you go to search terms in Google, so if I put in here, need a web designer. So I'm a person looking for a web designer. You notice they pay for that. That's an advert. They pay for that. That's an advert. They pay for that. That's an advert. And then the first actual then return you get that's free is this one here. Now, what do you think they're paying for that search term there, need a web designer? Well, if I go to AdWords and I type in there, need a web designer, for me to get number 1 in Google, I'd be paying anything between £98, so that's about $150 or so, to £9.13. So there's quite a range there. But you'll notice that potentially to be number 1, I'd be paying £50 or £40 a click to just get someone who's interested in a web design. And yet for no money at all, I can get on this page here, it's still the first page in Google results. And I can be number 1 on Google Maps, and I can be number 1 in the search results as well. And if there's no one paying 50 or 60 quid, then I would be right at the top. So that would be, the results would be like that. And that's going to then get clicks. So if someone clicked on that, it costs me nothing at all. If someone clicks on there, it costs them £100 or so. That's the difference. That's why we talk about Google My Business. And the reason we talk about the top 3 is because there, those 3 are shown. You'd have to click into here to get then the top 10 on Google Maps, or the top 20. So even being in the top 20 does give you some return, but you notice these people are paying for these returns, whereas I'm not paying for it. I'm not an advert. And that's the reason. It's when you suddenly understand the cost of adverts that you understand why we talk of the map pack or the top 3. That's the key. And that's what we're going to try and do for you today. 7 tools from a Google My Business SEO point of view that's going to help you get into the top 3. And it's not always just about making sure your Google My Business listing is optimized, but because Google My Business also works on the authority you have as a brand, then your website and your listings and your citations and your domain authority and the optimization on your website and the loading speed of your website, all those things build up an overview of what Google thinks about your brand. So even external things can affect your ranking of your Google My Business in the top 3. So 7 tools that are going to help you. And what I thought I'd do first of all is, before I pick the 7 tools, I'm going to write down the things that I think you need to optimize Google My Business. So I'm just going to jot down these now, and then I'll put them up on the screen as well. And really, I think it's down to monitoring it. You need to monitor first of all. I think you also need to have authority, which I mentioned, the SEO authority. I also feel keywords is important. I think you need to make sure you can reverse engineer success. You need content that's unique. You need to make sure that the grammar and spelling is correct and that you understand keywords, as we mentioned. And also, you just want to keep on enhancing it too. So there's my list of things there. Now I'm going to put those up on the screen for you, and then I'll then decide on what the tools are that are going to be ideal to help you in those areas. And then at the end of this video, I'll then put together a kind of step-by-step bespoke plan for your business so that you can follow that through as well. So this is going to be a very valuable video for you. And of course, if you're new here for the first time, then make sure that you give us a thumbs up if you're enjoying this video. Check out the rest of the videos that I've done. I've done over 300 videos now to help you with your Google My Business, improve your local listing on SEO and on your business listing, and also to improve within Google's rankings. So the first thing we mentioned was to monitor it. So how can you know that you're improving unless you're monitoring something? You need to monitor to see that you've put a peg in the ground, and then this is the progress made. And as you go back over a few months, what you're wanting to see is you get further and further into that top 3. And so when you then make changes, if it improves, you'll know that when you monitor it, you'll notice those changes have actually been effective, which is what you're looking for. So then you need to make those changes again. And some things can be more effective if you continue to do them on a regular basis as well. So you might just test something, realize that it doesn't actually seem to give you any benefit straight away, but that doesn't mean it won't give you benefit if you keep doing it as well. The second thing we mentioned was authority. So you want to just link out, get authority by internal links, external links. You need to know where your links are, and things like basic SEO stuff like H1, H2 tags, those things will always help build authority for your brand. So whether it's on your website or whether it's just linking through to Google Maps, your listings in Google My Business, making sure you've got plenty of ranking juice from all of the branding things you do. So whether it's Facebook, Twitter, you're looking for opportunities as well to see how you can improve your ranking. So a tool that will give you opportunities to build your authority. That's what we're going to look at in a moment. The third area of keywords, well, we know that you can't write about something, you can't optimize something if you don't know what the words are that your potential clients are using to find you. And sometimes you need to know also the value of those keywords. So as we saw, if you know that the value of looking for a web designer near me is of great value, or find me a web designer, if it's worth £50-60, well, that means if it's valuable, if people are paying adverts for it, then it means that they're likely to become customers quite quickly if they come in contact with your business and you're offering the service they're looking for. So look for ways of helping people solve their problems, and you can do that by making sure that the right keywords are being used, whether it's through a video, through a post, through questions and answers on Google My Business. That's another great way to do that. Just think of the keywords, think about what people are using to try and find your business, and especially within the title of your blogs and your videos. And really, whenever you can, try and use the keywords so that it captures the interest of your clients. The fourth area we mentioned is just trying to reverse engineer, try and understand how you can get success. Google My Business success is very much a case of not reinventing the wheel, but reverse engineering what Google's currently rewarding. And Google changes. So what Google rewards today, it doesn't reward tomorrow. So it never really stays still. But if you're working and constantly making sure that you improve what you have, you'll find that over time things will improve. So internal linking is a great way to do this. Understanding where people are coming from when they're linking to your competitors' sites gives you an opportunity to link and ask for links to your site too. And the fifth area, unique content, is so important, because if your content isn't unique, Google doesn't reward it. Google's only interested in rewarding businesses that actually offer something different, something new, something unique. So to write or find a tool that helps you to put unique content out there, if you're not a writer, that can be a tool that will save a lot of time. So I'm going to find a tool in a moment that will give you unique content quickly and will enable you to fill in certain areas of Google My Business that most people have forgotten. In fact, there's something that I'd forgotten to focus on that I'm going to cover in a moment on this video. Now, the sixth area is grammar. So my grammar is not particularly good, and I know I need a spell check whenever I'm writing. I know that things tend to not always go according to plan, and I love Grammarly. So I'll show you a great tool, Grammarly, that enables you to make sure you haven't got spelling mistakes, but also sometimes just rewords the grammar so that it sounds correct and reads correctly as well. And then finally, we need to enhance. So I wrote down there enhance because you can't just do all these things and leave it. You need to keep building on it. So you need stronger links coming through. You need to improve your authority, improve your expertise. Think about the search intent we mentioned with keywords. Think about search volumes as well. If no one's actually searching for it, then don't focus on it. And also, what are others saying about you? What are others doing? What are they doing well? Well, you can enhance your business by looking at what others are doing well. So there's some great tools out there, some Chrome extensions. We'll look at one or two of those in a moment and show you how I do that. And then, of course, we want to put it all together with a plan as well, which we'll cover at the end of this video. So the first tool that's going to really help when it comes to monitoring is Surfer Local. And Surfer Local has a free tool as well, which is fantastic. If you click on the free tool on Surfer Local, you can type in your business and it will just do a scattergun on your business. So I'm just going to take a random business. I don't know, there you go, Real Insurance Brokers. Let's just imagine, I don't know if it's car insurance, but I just put insurance. So this is a free tool. As it collects data, what it then tells me is what the potential is and how it ranks. So you can see if you were to be in the area where it exists, it will be number 1. But ideally you want all these to be green as well. So we can see that if you go in this direction from where it's based, it gets to number 4. So this area seems to be getting, it gets found if you're in this area searching for insurance. But if you were to go towards the pool area and along from the left of Bournemouth, you notice it's still plus 20, but for some reason it kind of gets 17 out here. So this just gives you an idea of where to perhaps aim, what areas to aim and so on. But of course, if you don't monitor it, you can't make things go green. And being green is going to help. If I go to this one here, it seems that these are monopolizing. These are the ones that you need to go. So these are the competitors that are doing it right. So if you were wanting to improve on your branding, you would look at your competitors and see what are they doing well. So this is a fantastic tool. I'll put a link down below so you can follow that through. You'll notice here, I've gradually used it so you can have different areas as well. But as you gradually grow, you're looking for, if you've got the green outer circle, it means that you can potentially come number 1. If you get an orange, it means it's much more competitive, much more of a challenge. If you get a red area, that's even harder. But we've got many oranges here. So there's in time, then as I go in this direction, I should be able to improve as well. But this is a little bit about understanding how you can optimize your Google My Business listing. But if you don't monitor it, you can't optimize and see the effects. So the second thing I want to look at was authority. And this tool I've selected is called Can I Rank? I saw it mentioned the other day on a website. I'll put a link down below as well. It's an absolutely brilliant tool. And I'll tell you why. It's free. So you're going for a free trial. You put in your website and then it runs some analysis and tests. It takes a while to run, but it's well worth it because it then gives you some scores as to where you can improve, what you can do, how you can optimize. Now you might say, well, this is nothing to do with Google My Business. But just bear in mind that your website also gives authority to Google My Business. Your branding gives authority to Google My Business. Google My Business is not just based on what you put into Google My Business listings, but it's also based on what Google considers about your business on the whole. And the reason I like this, if I click on opportunities, there it's given me things that I can do with my website. So it takes other people's blogs, it analyzes to see what relevancy. So here, for instance, Neil Patel's done a blog, so it's suggesting that a blogger, Neil Patel, just wrote about Google My Business. So I could go to this page here, I could speak to Neil, I could say, Neil, could you give me a link back? And that would be one way in which the word Google My Business could help optimize and give me some authority in my Google My Business. And so what it does, it looks at how easy is it to obtain, what type of authority would it give you. Ideally, you're looking for, obviously, the higher the score. So I've got these in order. So this one is the one it's suggesting I do next. It's saying if you got this done, it would be potentially worth about $5,000. Now, we're not sure how they calculate that. And that's what's so useful. And in fact, what I've done here is I've taken quite a few and I've completed them already. And I've already seen some progress in the benefits of that as well. So you may just, again, like the idea of the fact that it gives you a genuine look at things you can do and things that you can apply to your business. And there's some easy ones to do as well. Some take longer than others. But if you look again, it tells you this one, for instance, will take an hour and a half, it says. I find it's not normally a lot quicker than that. But again, it's just a case of reaching out to people, and it shows you what to do. So you can put here, I want to do this, or you can delegate it to someone to do it for me, or you can just decline it altogether. So if I say I want to do this, I can click on that, and that will then put it into my to-do list. So I go to the top here, so in progress. And if I then want to know a bit more about how to do that, then it takes me through the actions as well of how to do it. So a brilliant tool here, one that I'll put a link to down below. Now, the third tool I want to speak to is just about keywords. And we've got quite a few keyword tools that I've used. This is one that I've just come across recently. If I type in here, Google My Business, let's just say if I was looking for how to. So you've got a selection there of various things. You can do wildcards as well. So actually, you might want to do a Google My Business, but put a wildcard in there. So anything to do with Google My Business, so it could just be Google Business, do a search for that. You can choose where the area is. I'm going to go for global. It then's picked up quite a few matches. So I'm going to go for this, get keywords. And here I get a list, but the beauty of this is it tells me on average how many people are searching for it each month. A lot of this information has come from Google itself. And it will give me some great ideas of things to write about. So this is telling me the search intent. So if I want to know how many people have searched for Google My Business this month, well, we've got over 1 million people. So, I mean, that's going to be really hard to achieve top 10 on. But you might find there's things here. So if I wanted to perhaps write about Google Email for Business, then that's more achievable. Google Local Business, again, that might be a keyword. Once you've got a keyword, of course, you can use it in your title, you can use it on your alt tags, you can use it on your H2 tags. And so this is a really useful tool. And again, you can do the same thing with questions. So what questions are people asking about Google My Business? Let's try that. Again, it asks, do you want to ignore certain words? So if you're familiar with Google My Business and particularly Google Ads, you'll know that you can put negative words as well. So sometimes there's more than one understanding of a word. So if you feel there's some words here that you don't want included, you can add those or take them away. But I'm going to go for all of that. And so this is a bit more like a question here. Is Google My Business free? So that's a question people are asking. And it's a much more reasonable amount of volume there that I can probably achieve with my business as well. Why is Google My Business important? So there's lots of people that are searching for that each month, 170. Is there much competition for that? Is the volume high or low? I could look at other articles, read up on these articles, and then apply myself. And this is also important. What is Google rewarding? Is it rewarding long articles or short articles? You notice here that sometimes the average words is just under 2,000. So we're just looking again to see what is Google rewarding, because certain keywords will have or require more words to be given authority on than others. So it's important to also understand how Google ranks things. Now, my fourth area is Google My Business Success. How do you get Google My Business Success? Well, here's one that is a Chrome extension that's, I think, really, really helpful. It's called GMB Everywhere. And if you go to do a search on, say, Google Maps, you'll find that what it does, it will provide you with the categories, the prime one, but it reveals also all the other categories as well that's being used. So you can get this Chrome extension here, and then it'll just very easily give you information about what people are doing and how often they're posting. So you can get a post audit, you can get a review audit, you can get a basic audit. Let's just try one of these. So on the basic audit, it'll give you things like the URLs of various ones if you want to link through, a knowledge panel link. So this is really nice. If I click on this, it just gives the knowledge panel itself, just as it is, that is it. So that's quite a nice way of getting someone to see your knowledge panel. If you wanted, say, reviews, to request a review, you can click on this link and share this link, and it will then enable the area to put the reviews in. So another really nice little feature here. Lots of other features as well, basic audits, reviews, post audits. The next thing we mentioned is unique content. And unique content is really important because Google only rewards unique content. But there's an area that most people have forgotten about, and it's services. Now, I've been finding people have been adding services, people have watched my videos, they see I offer certain services, and my services have grown, not because I've put them in there, but because people have submitted them and Google's approved them. And if I go to here, I've now filled all these in, but there was a point where this was all empty. And I think you'll find if you go to your services, you may well find that quite a few of the services have been added and you haven't put information in here. So how can you write about all these different services? Well, the simple way would be to click on one of the services, and if you don't have a price, it doesn't matter, but you just want to put up to 300 characters in here. And the best way to do that is to literally to take perhaps a piece off your website. So this is what I would have done. Then to go to something like Auto Writer, which I'll put a link down below. And if I just put that in there, it rephrases the information that I've got on my website so that I can then put some unique content. So if I generate that professional, you'll notice that it starts off here, search engine optimization is a process of improving the quality. But you notice SEO is the act of improving the quality and quantity. Or search engine optimization is a process of improving. They're all very, very similar sentences, but they're all different. They're all unique. And that's a great way of making sure that Google doesn't suddenly say all your content is the same. And so it keeps it unique. And it's especially important if you're writing information into Google My Business and you're just wanting to take the information from your website, then that's a tool I'd recommend. It gives you keywords, but it also keeps it unique. Now, the seventh area is another tip that I just want you to consider is when you go to your Google My Business Live website, there's a section for the About page, and most people don't actually fill this in. So let me show you where this is. So you get this whole section here, and this is an ideal place to put lots of links. Now you may remember that there were some links that we come across here. So these links here you can add, requesting for URLs for, say, a post or a question and answer information, or it could just be that you want to link through to your website, or you want to, you've got these external links as well for audits and so on. There's so many bits of information here that you can use, and all of it will enhance your Google My Business listing. So let's just go back to this bit here. So you might want to put some of the areas you cover. That will help with some links through to Google Maps. You might want to link through to your website or your phone number, but you're trying to tie in really your brand. You're trying to tie in keywords as well and things that are important to your brand, and even keywords here in the title as well. Web designer near me in Bournemouth. Well, that's again relevant to my clients, my customers as well. So do optimize this, but optimize it well. But one of the other reasons I'm here is because grammar is also important. So not just unique content, but grammar as well. If you notice, I get a little red underline. I have over 20 years web design experience, and it's suggesting of web design experience, which is probably more grammatically correct. And you'll notice also, say for instance, if I put here, if I just change the spelling, say imagine I spelt design wrong. You notice now it immediately finds it and it wants to correct my spelling. And this is Grammarly, and it's just a really nice piece of kit, nice tool. So if you're editing on Google My Business, or say for instance you're in WordPress and you're writing an article and you're embedding certain information about your business, you notice again after you run it, after you've written it, you can just go back through it all and it's just picking up things. 7 predictions are links, linked to the exact, yeah, that's probably grammarly speaking, that's right. 7 predictions are linked, is linked. So sometimes you might want to overrule it. Comments should be double M, so we've got spelling there. And when you're happy with that, then you can update it as well. So that's just one of the things I find really helpful, Grammarly. And you can even go onto Grammarly's app and you can just copy and paste. And if you've got any information, it will suggest where these are. It also tells you whether it's engaging, whether it's clear, whether the delivery is right, whether it's professional. Words here like hesitation, misspelt, so let's just get that right. It should have a apostrophe. So if your spelling isn't brilliant, if your grammar's not great, you're going to find this tool amazing. And then we spoke about enhance as well. So what does enhance mean? Well, we want to just make sure that the intent and we just grow the strength of the brand. We grow the availability of linking through. Local rankings very much about building your brand and your social elements. And one of the things I find really helpful is Plepper. Plepper's got some great tools. You can go to the Chrome Web Store and you can get an extension there, which will help you to have some local SEO tools there. But amongst the tools it produces it just means when you go to Google and you do a search, so I've done a search for web design here, and you see what comes up, you can then see what categories everyone's using. You can see a percentage. So not every web designer is web designing, but they're also hosting as well, and they're graphic designers, and this gives you a breakdown of the top 20. But also there's other things as well. So you can go to reviews, you can see what the average review ratings are for that search. You can go to attributes and see what attributes people are now including on their ranking. You can go to business hours, see what the average person is ranking there. So Plepper's got some great little tools that I would again recommend you use. And if you go into various things as well within the business, so I've clicked on my business here, it will give you a lot more information. So for instance, it will tell me whether I'm on Bing, whether I'm on Apple, whether I'm found on Yale, or on my Facebook page. You can check all these things out. You can also do things like, is it mobile friendly? Is it fast loading? How does it work on various platforms? And also you've got the categories here as well. So a lot more personal information on each business. If you click along the businesses, you get that information too. So Plepper is ideal and really going to help you build your authority. So if you use those tools on a regular basis, can you imagine how your Google My Business listing would grow? Can you imagine the search engine optimization benefits that would come from regularly using tools like the ones we've just mentioned? But ultimately, every business category is different. And I said to you that we would make a bespoke plan together. And in some ways, this video's got so long that I need to go back to a previous video that most people haven't seen. This is a real gem that enables you to put together a step-by-step bespoke plan for your business. And I'm going to guide you all the way through it. So join me on this video now and I'll show you how that works.